Saturn conjunct the Bitcoin progressed Venus dumps crypto today. All right, so this is obviously from an astrological perspective. If you're an astrology lover, you're going to love this video. So this planet Saturn can typically bring contraction, hard lessons in reality, dumps in the crypto market. And what we have is, if we go to we run the Bitcoin astrology chart, we pull up the transits to progressions, and we have this transit, Saturn conjunct the Bitcoin. Now this is the Bitcoin progressing Venus. And Saturn, the bringer of oftentimes contractions, limitations, lessons in reality, conjuncting the Bitcoin Venus, the planet of money, value, also relationships, but we're talking about Bitcoin, so we're talking about money today. Saturn can bring that contraction there. And on the day, this is actually Southeast Asia time, so this is right now is the 26th in American time and the 27th in Southeast Asia. And Saturn is bringing that conjunction. On the day, we're getting that contraction right here. We're getting that dump. All right. Now, at the same time, we're getting this. If you look at the yellow line, the yellow line is dumping as well. Now, the yellow line, what is that? That is the global liquidity index. And look at how closely Bitcoin is following this global liquidity index. Extremely closely. Now, it did have a little bit of divergence here when was this? Around January, really, January. January, it's holding up stronger. It's not dumping as far as this yellow line. So it seems as though what we're seeing so far this month is when the global liquidity starts to dump, typically we do see a correction. But it doesn't go all the way down as far as the global liquidity line. But every time, what's really interesting, every time we get a little pump, even a small pump, crypto gets a even bigger pump. But once again, we started dropping here. Now this was around 22nd. Bitcoin started falling a little bit, getting some sideways action. And then a little, here, I'll zoom in here. Let's see. A little, oh, sometimes it gets a little off center here. I got to make sure. Maybe I can't zoom in like I wanted to. But we see, it falls down, it goes a little bit up a little bit, and then it dumps again. And so we're getting that second dump here. Looks like it could be dumping easily until January 30th, maybe even all the way to February 9th or February 8th. But like I was saying, every time it gets a little upswing, we tend to get a little pump in crypto. So there is potential that we could go down until the 30th, and then we go a little bit up until February 3rd, and then down again until February 8th, and then up all the way to February 15th, or really all the way to February 20th potentially, and then down again after February 20th. But like I was saying, the good news is it might not go as far down as this yellow line. I mean, this yellow line would go all the way down to 50K Bitcoin. There's a good chance it's not going to go nearly that far down as we saw. I'm still trying to line this up properly. What is going on here? Anyways, oh, I think I know. We saw it typically goes up, especially when the yellow line goes up. Bitcoin goes up and matches it quite closely. When it goes down a little bit less for Bitcoin than what the yellow line does. However, the altcoins can get hit pretty hard. Let's see how the altcoins are doing. This is the others chart. I mean, the others chart is still holding up decently well. Let's see. So we did go way up with following the yellow line, and then we got a correction, and then it swung again, but it didn't go down as far as this yellow line did, which is the good news. So the bottom line is we could have more downside, but it's probably not going to be like the end of the bull market sort of situation. As like I was saying, there's another potential upswing February 9th to around February 20th. But the bad news is we might not get a huge altcoin run like many were hoping. We might just get sideways action or just ranging. It seems like we're getting a lot of ranging. If we, you know, we have this peak here and then the bottom here, it could just be bouncing up and down. And if we go to Bitcoin, Bitcoin could be ranging from like 109 to down to maybe 90 or so, but it might not even go that low. We'll see. I don't have a crystal ball. These markets are absolutely crazy. It's nearly impossible to predict these markets when we're just going in this crazy ranging nonstop. Sorry, I can't tell you guys exactly where we're going, exactly what the prices are going to be doing. Let's check out XRP. XRP got a nice little dump so far. If we zoom in more, let's see how it compares to the global liquidity. I mean, it's going up with the global liquidity. It's not, if you see, XRP is not, let me clean this up a little bit. XRP is not going down as far as the global liquidity, like I was saying. You know, the global liquidity is like falling off a cliff. We got a little pump here. This little pump sent XRP much higher. And then we're getting another dump now. It is possible there's more downside. It's certainly possible. I can't say that's not possible. But it looks like we're getting ranging here with XRP. Now, I really don't know how low it could go, but if we look at some of these trend lines, I mean, I guess it's possible it could head down to like 220 or something. Can't say that's not possible. Or that could be the low, or the low could be in right here at 265. But guys, I just can't even predict it. These markets are just so crazy right now. Extremely, extremely volatile. I mean, maybe we could have something like this where we're just kind of, I mean, there could be another dip like that, but I think we are going to see overall heading upwards. Most likely, but things are getting tricky for sure. So far, I mean, it's pretty good to see that it sold to 265, but it's gotten a decent amount of buying action in the last 4 hours. That looks good for XRP. Solana's dropped quite a bit. If we see how it's performing against the global liquidity index. Yeah, look at it. Look at this. So Solana, you know, followed the global liquidity pretty closely. Then it dropped off. And then the global liquidity just went on this little bloop, this little pump upwards, and Solana just went absolutely crazy off of that little pump. But yeah, there is more. The global liquidity is falling potentially until January 30th, maybe a little pump beginning of February, then potential little sideways action to February 8th perhaps, and then possibly a big pump February 8th to February 20th or so. And a big pump for crypto in February would line up with one of my theses, my updated thesis for February, which could be a bit more bullish. And I'll be coming out with that with my February 2025 update video for Bitcoin and crypto. So definitely hit that subscribe button so you're notified for that video, which will come out probably a few days from now, as I want to see how the markets are going to respond in the next few days. It's going to be pretty interesting. We also have the Fed funds meeting. If we look at the Fed watch tool, there's 2 more days till the Fed meeting on January 29th, and there's a 99% chance that they're just going to pause rates, which is not very bullish, but a lot of it depends on what he's going to say in that meeting. If he says in the future they're thinking about cutting rates again, then that would be really bullish. But if he says we're just going to keep cutting throughout the entire year, then that's not going to be good. Let's look at the global liquidity on that day. Global liquidity is at this low, so we could get a little bit more dumping until the Fed meeting. It looks like maybe a little pump after the Fed meeting, and then maybe sideways action or a tiny bit more downside until February 9th. So really interesting how closely things are following this global liquidity line. Some coins are getting hurt more than others, of course, but Bitcoin's holding up strong. Ethereum's a little weak. Solana's decent. It depends on how it's going to hold up the next few days. XRP's a little bit weak, but still holding up strong compared to most other coins. Trump coin is seeing some downside. Sui's has gotten a pretty big dump since it's been, on a huge uptrend for such a long time. Looks like Sui could have a little bit more downside. Perhaps it'll get support around 320 or something like that. I don't know. It's really tough. I'm really just kind of letting go of putting out too many predictions because things are just like a washing machine these days in these markets. Cardano's holding up okay. A little bit of weakness there. Render's not doing so great. Yeah, so other coins are getting smashed. TIA's just getting completely obliterated. Matic and Polygon, it's a little weak there. Anyways, a lot going on in crypto today. Let's see, what comments do you guys have? Not too many comments. Hands, yellow, heart red. Okay, I'm not sure what that's referring to. What do you guys think? Do you think we're going to continue to follow this global liquidity line? Especially for Bitcoin, well, it's been following it decently closely. Yeah, doesn't look like we're going to get a decent pump until February 8th, February 9th, around there. And even that, well, that's a fairly decent pump. So yeah, there could be more upside in February. That's the good news. The other good news is there could be more buying opportunities. As you know, this is on a downtrend, this global liquidity. I personally making sure I have at least 10% cash. Maybe I'll even up that to 20%. But yeah, it looks like either we're doing sideways action or we're having a bit more downside to come. So that's what I'm preparing for. Tricky, tricky markets. So one sneak peek for February is we have a very significant transit with Saturn. And as you can see, that's this planet Saturn right here is going to get right up next to this planet Uranus. That's the Bitcoin Uranus. And when that happens, so most astrologers think this is very bearish. That's happening around February 17th. Because Saturn can typically bring contraction. But I have a pretty good estimate that this could actually flip bullish and perhaps, and that lines up very well with this pump in the global liquidity from, around February 8th to February 20th approximately. That would be around that time where we could get, things could actually flip bullish. We could get a pump to there. But then problem is what happens after that is it falls off again. So, and then I'm going to make a whole nother video about March, and there's a lot of caution around March. And so stay tuned for my March video. I'll be coming up with that. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We also have the daily exchange volume it has been on an uptrend since January 6th, but then recently it's starting to dump a little bit. Now, either that's a fake out and we're going to continue back up, but it looks like it is so far dumping as of the 25th. We'll wait for the update for the next 24 hours. But yeah, a little downtrend there on the global daily exchange volume, which is also leaning bearish. Now, if we look at the liquidations, we've already gotten $854 million of liquidations. Most of that is the longs getting liquidated. So people that were thinking Bitcoin's going to pump higher and they were in leverage positions, they were getting liquidated. They're losing those bets, losing their funds. Typically this 24-hour, when we get a big dump, it can get up to, it can even get beyond $1 billion. We're still not up to $1 billion. So there certainly could be a little bit more downside if we get up to that $1 billion or even $1.2 billion. Dare I say 1.5, but typically it's usually like a little bit above $1 billion liquidations. If we compare it to what happened back here, I believe around December 18th, we got a huge dump there. And I believe there's like about $1.3 billion liquidations. So we're still not at that level yet. Like I said, there could be a little bit more downside. But we'll keep our eyes peeled on this in the minutes, hours, and days to come. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in. Oh, now we're getting comments. I'm part of the Round Earth Society. Okay, Blood Before Pump. Hi, thanks for your work. Do you have the Zero Bro chart? No, I don't see what that is. How's the Astro line up with the global liquidity? Yeah, I just went over that. So really interesting that it lines up quite well with the global liquidity line in terms of the Saturn conjunct the Bitcoin Uranus conjunction that I just showed. This seems to be based on the AI China news. Oh, yeah. Certainly possible, yeah. Their DeepSeek AI model is causing NASDAQ futures dump right now. That is pretty significant. Yeah, so I guess that's what we're seeing here. But it's following perfectly this global liquidity line here pretty closely. Lunar eclipse cycle coming up in March. Yep, exactly. March looks scary. Indeed. All right, guys. So yeah, definitely subscribe. Stay tuned for my February and March videos coming up. And if you want to get a much deeper dive, if you want to get, I didn't even mention this yet. If you want to get instant access, I came out with a full Bitcoin astrology overview for 2025, the entire year. It's a very volatile year. It's the year of change. I came up with a full training on that and recorded it. You guys can get instant access to that. You can get lifetime access to my private Crypto Astro Mastermind, and you'll get the Bitcoin astrology for the entirety of this year. Deep dive analysis as a bonus that will get sent instantly to your inbox. If you want to get access to that, click the link below, get into the Crypto Astro Mastermind, and type in the coupon code if you want to get an excellent deal on that program. You get lifetime access, and you'll get access to that training. All right, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for your comments. Keep the comments coming. Click that like button, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace.